Well, it's a very warm welcome back to second half independent off-tube studio commentary from the West London derby at Craven Cottage, where Fulham lead against Brentford by 2-1. Perfect start for Fulham, scoring inside the first minute through Bobby Decordova-Reid, doubling their lead then through João Palhinha after a corner kick whipped in by Andreas Pereira. Brentford not really doing anything in those first 20-25 minutes, but looking a bit better in the last quarter of an hour, and they scored from a corner when a ball was played in by Matthias Jensen into the round about the penalty spot, just in front of the penalty spot, and Norgard not really marked there at all, hitting it first time to get Brentford back into the game. But Fulham will still feel as though with this lead they can go on and build on that in the second half. No changes at half time, so Bernd Leno in goal for Fulham with a back four of Kenny Tete, Tosin Adebayo, Tim Ream and Anthony Robinson. Three in midfield of Harrison Reed, Andreas Pereira and João Palhinha, with Bobby Decordova-Reid, Jay Stansfield and Aleksander Mitrovic as the attacking three. For Brentford, David Raya is in goal with a back four of Aaron Hickey, Pontus Jansson, Ben Mee and Rico Henry. The three in midfield are Josh Da Silva, Christian Norgard and Matthias Jensen, with Brian Mbabu, Yoan Wissa and Ivan Toney as the attacking three. Brentford in possession now at the edge of their own box. Raya looking for the long ball. Few too many Fulham players still lurking at the edge there, so Raya does try a long ball to pick out Mbumo. That one's headed away by Robinson, but it drops straight to Brian Mbumo, and then he looks up, gets shoved off the ball there by Decordova-Reid. I think he was looking for the free kick too much, and now Norgard can't get near Pereira. What a run this is from Andreas Pereira. Plays it square now to Mitrovic, who gets it onto his left foot. Janssen thought about sliding in, just decides to stand up, and that was the right option there. Forces Mitrovic out wide, and then Robinson plays the ball back into the box. Norgard gets there just ahead of Mitrovic, who then clears it long, and this could prove to be a great long ball to Toney. Toney slides in, controls it, then runs into Adebayo. What's the referee going to give here? I don't think he's going to give anything in the end. I think Toney did really well to fall and still control the ball, but then I think he was asking for a little bit too much there from the referee to say that he was fouled by Adebayo. We'll see a replay in just a moment. It was outside the box in any case, so there was never any issue about VAR getting involved, as the long ball now played towards Mitrovic, nodded away by Ben Mee, and now Pontus Jansson with a ball that doesn't find its intended target, which was Ivan Toney. Tim Ream stepping forward now for Fulham, playing it down the right-hand side, and then it's whipped in, coming in towards the penalty area. Easy save in the end by David Raya. A little bit too much height on that one. Now let's have a look. Was there a foul here on but Ivan Toney as he gets to the edge of the area? He does well to control the ball off Adebayo, and Adebayo just gets his body in the way. It's one of those where if he'd come from a little bit further away, Adebayo, you might have argued that he's obstructing, but because he's so close to Toney there, as Toney slides in, gets the ball off Adebayo, it's one of those where I think the referee could have given that as a free kick for obstruction, but it's not one that's sort of glaring in my opinion. Now we're getting a bit of back chat here from the Brentford players. I didn't actually see what this was about because they were still showing us replays of that incident with Toney and Adebayo. Now Pontus Jansson, the Bees captain, has been called across towards referee Peter Banks. Andreas Pereira is getting a telling off here. This has been given as a free kick to Brentford afterwards. I think the Bees were unhappy that there should have been a card. I say I've still not seen what the Brentford players are actually unhappy about, but the long and the short of it is that there's a free kick to Brentford inside the centre circle, which is taken by Ben Mee. Hooks a long ball over towards Mbumo, taken down by Mbumo. He plays it back towards Hickey. Hickey's ball into the box, headed away by Adebayo, still kept alive here by Norgard. And then Jensen finding Rico Henry on the left-hand side. Henry's ball into Toney, who turns and fires towards goal. And Brentford, have they got a goal? The referee, well, the Brentford players were looking over towards the linesman, but the flag doesn't go up. Ivan Toney has made it 2-2 here on 49 minutes. And it's a great strike from the Bees front man as well. So when you consider that Brentford scored on 44, they've now got their equaliser on 49, and this is really good work as well here from the Bees. Rico Henry on the left-hand side. There's nobody offside there, is there? Well, Mbumo's offside, but does the ball go towards him? He never reaches Brian Mbumo, so as far as I'm concerned, there's no offside to be worrying about there from Brentford's point of view. Mbumo was offside when the cross was played in, but the ball goes nowhere near his side of the penalty area. And you've got to say that as a striker, from Ivan Toney's point of view, it's a superb goal, because he's got his back to goal, gets a ball from Henry, spins on that one touch, and then fires it past Bernd Leno into the bottom corner. A great strike from Ivan Toney. And a great start from Brentford in this second half. They looked completely out of it in the first 20 minutes. Fulham with 2 goals and a potential third where there was an offside. And now Brentford make it 2-2 on 50 minutes. The referee there is an offside. After all of that, the goal has been disallowed. Well, I am very surprised by that, I must admit. I'd love to see the replay of how that offside decision was reached there, because as far as I could see, I couldn't see Toney being offside. Let's have a look from this replay now. He is offside when that first ball is played in. It's only his left foot that's sort of leaning out, but he is offside. I mean, it's the tip of the boot. It's those wafer-thin offside decisions that we've seen from VAR over the years. But as I say, if that's what they've decided, that's what they've decided. So Brentford were level for approximately about a minute, but now the offside VAR decision puts pay to that. So 51 minutes gone. Fulham still lead 2-1 here at Craven Cottage, and it is the home side now pushing forward with Harrison Reed getting under pressure there from Jensen. Ball goes out for a Fulham throw. So Ivan Toney has had a few assists already this season, looking to get his first goal, but sadly it wasn't to be. And still Fulham with this 2-1 lead, but it was marginal, it really was. Very close to being level there as De Silva now puts the ball up in the air. It's to no one in particular, headed away by Adebayo. Loose ball drops to Norgard, who heads it forward, looking for Yoan Wissa. There's a real fight for it in midfield. In the end, I think Norgard just a little bit too aggressive in the way he bumped into Andreas Pereira. And so it is going to be a free kick to Fulham now, still inside their own half. Looking to see how Fulham are going to take this one. Brentford are trying to play as high as they can with an offside line, just to stop Fulham trying to play a long ball. And in fact, the home side actually go back towards Bernd Leno. Under pressure there, clears it long, straight down the middle. Ben Mee is underneath this one, under pressure from Mitrovic, and a combination of Mee and Norgard just about get the ball away from Mitrovic before Wissa then has the ball taken off him, but it goes out for a throw. Leicester City have taken the lead at home to Southampton. James Maddison with the goal for Leicester. Still a little bit of uncertainty about his future, isn't there, with 11 days of the window still to go. But Maddison giving Leicester City the lead. So that just leaves Everton against Nottingham Forest. That's the only goalless game in the 3 o'clock Premier League kickoffs today. Brentford in possession now with Matthias Jensen, goes back towards Ben Mee. And then Pontus Jansson rolling it back towards David Raya. The two benches, by the way, it's Duffy, Francois, Harris, Kearney, Diop, Mbabu, Ablade, Chalobah and Marek Rodak on the bench for Fulham. This afternoon for Brentford, it's Godos, Lewis Potter, Baptiste, Onyeka, Janelt, Dervisoglu, Rasmussen, Roslev, Sorensen, as well as the goalkeeper Strakosha. So a couple of big names on both of those benches should either manager feel the need to use them. And Brentford now going forward, and Mbeumo touches that one on to Toney, who's stopped by Harrison Reed, headed forward now by Stansfield, but that one drops straight to Ben Mee. And Brentford can just mop things up inside their own half now. Meet square to Jensen. Trying to press as much as they can here, put that pressure on Brentford, trying to force an error as Pontus Jansson fires a really good ball now down the left hand side to find Henry in space. Henry's ball forward is stopped, but he takes the throw quickly, and this time he does find Yoan Wissa. Wissa back to Henry, left hand edge of the penalty area. Jensen back to Wissa again. He's looking for space to get across it. He can't do it. It's got to go back to Jensen, and eventually the ball has to go all the way back to the halfway line now for Pontus Jansson. Jansson square to Ben Mee, being closed down by Mitrovic. Fulham pressing wherever they can as this ball now goes down the left hand side. Adebayo with the header, beating Rico Henry to it. It's not a fair fight really, is it? Henry and Adebayo jumping for the ball together, and eventually it goes out of play for a throw to Fulham down the right hand side. As we can see, Vitaly Janelt is getting ready to come on for Brentford. Say defensive midfielder, he can very easily play as an out-and-out central midfielder getting forward as well. But it looks like Thomas Frank just wants to give his side a little bit of a boost in midfield. I don't know whether it is going to be Jensen, Norgard or De Silva that's going to be replaced here. We'll have to wait and see. But for the time being, it's Brentford in possession here with Wissa. Plays it square now to De Silva. That's a great challenge there from Decordoveri just to pick the ball off him just as he was waiting to shoot. Here come Fulham though down the left-hand side. Good work here from Pereira. De Silva then clips his heels, and that's going to be a free kick to Fulham just outside the Brentford penalty area. It's going to be a booking for Josh De Silva as well. I'm not so sure he can have any complaints about that. He's going to stop a run by clipping an opponent from behind without ever really getting near the ball. I'm not sure he gives the referee much of an option there. It was always going to be a free kick, and it was always going to be a yellow card. And, now we can see referee Peter Banks just organising things in the wall. Making sure there isn't too much pushing and shoving, although of course as soon as he steps away the pushing and shoving will resume. So far there are 4 Fulham players standing over the ball. So still haven't quite worked out who the next man is, who the free kick taker is going to be. Still taking a while here. Mitrovic and Pereira seem to be the 2 most likely candidates. And referee now finally able to mark out this ball. It's taken a long time here for Peter Banks to get things organised for this free kick to be taken. Mitrovic a little bit unhappy there as well with his teammate. I think he was trying to say that he wanted to take the free kick, but Pereira says no, it's mine. Now the Fulham players are unhappy about something that's going on in the wall. I think potentially it's because the Brentford players have stepped over that sprayed on line. There is a Brentford player down on the ground as well to try and stop the low ballers. Raya, as he likes to do, has moved over 2/3 of his goal, so he's almost encouraging that curling effort from Andreas Pereira. Referee for the time being. Still getting things organised in the wall, but now finally we can see this free kick. Pereira standing over it. It's still measuring his steps out. This is taking a very, very long time here. Finally the referee signals. Pereira steps up and he bends it around the wall. It's a good save from Raya. He sent it to the same side where Raya was stood, so I would have been surprised if Raya had been beaten there, really. If that had gone over towards the left-hand side as Pereira looks, there would have been more of a chance to surprise the Beast keeper. As it was, Raya with a leaping save, but he was always underneath that one, so he always felt as though he was a favourite to make the save. Corner kick to Fulham now on the right-hand side. It's going to be an outswinger. Plenty of players waiting inside the penalty area as this ball is swung out towards the edge of the 6-yard box, aiming for Adebayo. He couldn't quite get on the end of it. Robinson chases this one down for Fulham and hooks it back into the penalty area, but it's a looping ball that drops straight to David Raya. He then bowls it out down the right-hand side, and Josh De Silva. No options though for Josh De Silva, forced to go back towards the edge of his own box. And now Brentford trying down the left-hand side here with Rico Henry. Closed down by Stansfield, goes back towards Ben Mee. Mee looked up, saw the chance to play a long ball here for, well, it was intended for Rico Henry, but Toney has followed it, and that potentially was an error because Toney was in an offside position. The flag has now gone up as Palace retake the lead against Aston. In fact, sorry, Palace take the lead. They got a goal down after Ollie Watkins put Villa in front. Zaha then equalised. Schlupp then had a goal disallowed for offside before Zaha missed the penalty but then scored. So it looks like he may well be that Zaha hit the rebound into the back of the net. Changes here for Brentford though, a double change. Keane Lewis Potter is on now to replace Aaron Hickey. So Lewis Potter is on the field. The other change is going to be Matthias Jensen. He is off to be replaced by Vitaly Janel. So Jensen, man of the match last week, gets the hook even before the hour mark here at Craven Cottage. Thomas Frank can just see that that's a little bit of spring in the step that Brentford had just before and just after half-time. Just seems to have eluded them slightly in the last few minutes. Still have a deficit to try and make up in this game, but a long ball played to Ivan Toney. Does well to hold that up and plays it in towards De Silva. Now it's Mbabu coming in from deep this time, and he's got space over on the left-hand side, and that's where the ball has gone. Janel in towards Lewis Potter, who tees it up, a strike coming in, but that one is a long way over the bar from Mbabu. Nice combination play there from Brentford, though, to try and build the ball up towards the edge of the area. Nurgaard dropped a shoulder, and then Keane Lewis Potter teed it up for Mbabu, but he's very left-footed Mbabu, which is a diplomatic way of saying that his right-footed effort was a long way away from goal, and never really looked threatening at all. Fulham just wanted to take it short, but in the end Leno was under pressure and forced to clear it. It's long, it goes out of play for a throw taken quickly. It's with Ben Mee now playing it back towards Janssen. David Raya now. A long ball over the top, down towards the left-hand side, headed forward now by... It was Henry down that left-hand side, cleared away back into midfield. Ben Mee steps forward for Brentford, but that one's headed forward by Harrison Reed. Nurgaard does well though, he finds De Silva. De Silva under pressure, still keeps the ball alive, plays it in towards Lewis Potter, back to De Silva. It's a heavy touch though. He's done that twice now since he's come on the field, has King Lewis Potter. He did well to hold the ball up for Mbabu a moment ago, and this time what he's tried to do is just to try and take a little bit of the pace off the ball and then play it into the run of Josh De Silva. And he does that. There's a slight deflection of Adebayo as well, which might just add a bit of pace to the ball, but De Silva couldn't control that on the run. And it is out for a throw to Brentford now down the right-hand side after a long ball from Fulham's right. Just eluded Bobby De Cordova-Reid. David Raya with a clearance. It's held up here by Rico Henry, who's then pushed off the ball by Kenny Tete. So that will be a free kick to Brentford. 62 minutes gone, independent off-tube studio commentary. Fulham leading against Brentford by 2-1. The scoreline from the first half is still being maintained. Brentford did have the ball in the back of the net. A marginal offside against Ivan Toney. Put paid to that equaliser. David Raya now with a long clearance for Brentford. He's hit it quite low, but it does reach its target of Ivan Toney. He plays it to Lewis Potter. And now it's with De Silva down the left-hand side as Nurgaard tried to feed that ball into Lewis Potter. It's well cut out though by Harrison Reed, and then Mitrovic plays the ball towards João Palhinha. I think in the end, the referee decided that was going to be a free kick. Look as though he was in a bit of pain there as well, João Palhinha, but he's picked himself up. Looks like he's okay to carry on. Nurgaard just bumps into him, and then as Palhinha hits the deck, just fell slightly awkwardly there, but it looks like the Portuguese is all right to play on. Free kick to Fulham, just inside Brentford territory. They choose to go back with it anyway towards Adebayo. Tim Ream over the top, down the left-hand side. Ball now played towards Mbabu. Mbabu forward towards Ivan Toney. But Toney, although he tried to touch that ball down the right-hand side, wasn't able to keep it in play. He's looking towards the referee like he might have been brought down. Is that with the final touch of a... in fact, it was given as a free kick after all of that. So the referee just taking a few seconds to decide that. Toney and now Andreas Pereira having a little bit of a pushing match. Just to confirm as well, no changes in the other scores so far. Palace 2-1 up against Villa, Everton 0-0 with Nottingham Forest, and Leicester leading against Southampton by 1-0. Mbabu now stands over this free kick for Brentford, and Fulham are still outside the penalty area with their offside, trying to make it as hard as possible for this ball to reach its intended target as Mbabu hooks it towards the far side. It drops just in front of De Silva, plays it in towards Wissa. Wissa just needed wanted too much time there at the edge of the area. It's cleared away from him and back towards the halfway line where Mbabu stayed behind after taking that free kick. He plays it back to goalkeeper David Raya, who's already been closed down, but he does clear it up towards the halfway line. That's a good header forward though from João Palhinha, who was fouled in the air as he was jumping for the ball. So says referee Peter Banks. Didn't look like there was a bit of contact there from Pontus Jansson. It probably was the correct decision. And a free kick to Fulham now, with a chance to just try and hold things up. Possession in the last 5 minutes is 79% for Brentford and just 21% for Fulham. But despite that, that's just in the last 5 minute spell. Despite that, in that 5 minute spell, there are a couple of balls lurking at the edge of the Fulham penalty area, but nothing really for Bernd Leno to be too concerned about. It's free kick now taken short by Andreas Pereira. Plays it square to Harrison Reed, who plays a good ball across, and that one's fired in. from that right-hand side of the area by Decordova-Reid. Then a long ball played up towards the edge of the Fulham penalty area, but the goalkeeper, Leno, in fairness, comes out and comfortably heads that away. Showed his composure there. And then a ball headed back. And what on earth was this? Oh, it's a great chance for Mitrovic. How on earth has he not scored there? And what on earth are Brentford doing as well? Absolutely suicidal defending there from the Bees. But Brentford were playing out from the back, and then they suddenly decided to play a ball back towards Raya, not realising that Mitrovic was still lurking at the edge of the area. Is this Norgard? He just flicks the ball back, and it was almost like a great through ball to Mitrovic. He obviously couldn't be offside because the ball came off a Brentford man. And in fairness to Mitrovic, he tried to take it on early and play it past Raya, and Raya bails his team out with a good save, but that should be 3-1 to Fulham without a doubt. As the corner is now whipped in by Harrison Reed, headed towards goal. It's missed here by Robinson. In fact, it was Tim Ream who got closest to it, just away from Robinson. But looking at this again, it was headed towards goal by Mitrovic. In fact, it was heading away from goal. I'm not sure if that was a header on target from Mitrovic. He was trying to get a header on target, if he was trying to play it to his teammate there. But Ream on the volley missed that one. Goal kick to Brentford as Che Adams has equalised for Southampton away at Leicester. It's 1-1 now at the King Power Stadium. But here come Brentford as Toney threads a ball in. And it's Rico Henry coming in down the left-hand side. It just takes a little bit too long there, Henry. And that's a good challenge there from Jay Stansfield coming back and helping out in defence. That's either gone out for a throw or a corner to Brentford down the left-hand side. You can see here as Henry breaks in, he just wanted that little bit too much time. And it's a really good challenge there from Stansfield as well. Looks like it has been... is this a throw to Brentford then? It is a throw. It's right by the corner flag. And so with Matthias Jensen off the field, it looks like it'll be Vitaly Yano who's taken over the long throw duties. Pontus Janssen and Ben Mee are in the penalty area to try and get on the end of this. It's thrown in, it's headed up in the air, but then it's hooked away by João Paulinho back towards the halfway line where Rico Henry had stayed back for Brentford. Henry's ball to Josh De Silva. Silva now finding Norgard. Norgard's cross into the box. Good header away by Adebayo. Second ball drops to Mbumo, whose effort is deflected out towards this right-hand side. Played in now towards Lewis Potter. Under pressure there, gets away from Paulinho, still keeps the ball alive, and he fires it towards the near post. And that one is deflected out for a corner kick. Didn't have much space to work with there, Lewis Potter. But he was able to somehow just about get that ball away from the Fulham man, tracking back João Paulinho. He just about kept it in play as well. Out for a corner kick to Brentford. Mbumo now puts this one down. And, he's going to try and get this in-swinger as close to a teammate as he can. Pontus Janssen having a bit of a pushing match there with Kenny Tete. But here comes the ball in from Mbumo towards the back post. Toney was climbing for it, as indeed was De Silva, just a bit further backed off. But it was Ivan Toney who got closest to it. And in the end, his header goes over the bar. So this has certainly been a better half from Brentford, but with Fulham still having that lead, and Brentford still producing the sort of defensive mistakes they just produced a couple of minutes ago when Norgard gave it straight to Mitrovic. Say Fulham will still feel as though they're in a strong position here, but now they've got more defending to do as the ball is played over the top. Toney into the back of the net. The flag goes up again. I think this time Toney knew he was offside when he drilled that one low. Still a good finish there with his left foot, but I think he knew that that he was offside. We'll just see from the replay how obvious this was that Ivan Toney was offside. Ooh, I tell you what, it's not actually that obvious at all. But I'm not quite sure that replay was timed perfectly with the moment that the ball was played. But in any case, VAR will double check this. I think the move was completed. So in any case, played back in. So yeah, so there was an offside there in the end. Confirmation of that now. Ball is back in play, and Fulham have given the ball away almost immediately. They're starting to play a little bit more nervously now, are the home side. Brentford are seeing more and more of the ball, and it's getting closer and closer to this Fulham penalty area. So it's something that Marco Silva may want to counteract in some way. Brentford have made a double change. Fulham have yet to bring anybody on in this game. Of course, 5 subs are now allowed, so there are plenty of options here for Marco Silva should he choose to use them. For the time being, Janelt going back towards David Raya, and he looks up, seeing where options are for him. He decides to just clear it long. Good header away by Tim Ream, beats Ivan Toney in the air. And now it's with João Paulinho up towards Cordova-Reid. But Fulham give it away very quickly. Here are Brentford again with Mbabu dancing away from Mitrovic, playing the ball in towards Wissa, who breaks into the box. Wissa plays it along the 6-yard box, and Brentford are level. It's Yoan Wissa with the assist, and it is Ivan Toney that gets the goal. He had an effort ruled out for offside earlier in the half. In fact, 2 ruled out for offside, but this third one is not going to be ruled out. Credit to Yoan Wissa there on the right-hand side of the penalty area, and he fired that one across. Toney from inside the 6-yard box. He's not going to miss. And with 19 minutes still to play, it's now Fulham 2, Brentford 2. Again, Mbabu with a good ball into Wissa. Wissa seemed to be running into a cul-de-sac, but he still managed to get that ball across. Lewis Potter, I don't know if he dummied it or whether he went for it, but just couldn't quite reach that ball. In any case, it's a good thing he didn't reach it, because he wasn't in the best position right at the edge of the 6-yard box in front of the post. Toney, meanwhile, was right in the middle of the goal in the 6-yard box, and when this ball reached him, you knew he was going to score from there, although Tete did his best to try and obstruct him there, but it wasn't to be, and it's 2-2 now at Craven Cottage, with Brentford very much on top. Fulham, that's why I mentioned just before Brentford got their equaliser, Marco Silva needs to think about a substitution here, just to try and freshen up that midfield and give his players a bit of a chance to just get that little bit, to be that little bit more competitive in these final 20 minutes. Palace, meanwhile, have got a third at home to Aston Villa. Palace now 3-1 up, just waiting for confirmation of the goal scorer there for Crystal Palace. Still goalless at Goodison between Everton and Nottingham Forest. Looking at the stats, there have been 6 efforts on target, with 3 from each side. And Forest desperate to build on that win against West Ham last week, whereas Everton, with 2 defeats, they need to get on the board as quickly as possible. Frank Lampard's side, big pressure goes from their point of view. Lampard seems that he's got not quite got the squad that he was hoping for, but getting back to action here at Craven Cottage. Brentford on the attack again. Long ball hooked into the penalty area. Very, very deep cross from that left-hand side, and it was then played across by Mbabu first time, and he was looking for Lewis Potter. But in fairness to Tim Ream, although he shanked this clearance, the important thing is that he got it away from the penalty area, and it's a corner kick to Brentford now from the right-hand side. It's an in-swinger from Mbabu aimed at the near post. Both sets of players have their arms up, but I think it was Ben Mee that got the final touch, and so it will be a goal kick to Fulham. Brentford now looking far more accomplished than they did in the first 20-25 minutes. There's going to be a third change here for Brentford as well, as Josh Da Silva is off. Shandon Baptiste on to replace him. Baptiste on the field now for these final 16-17 minutes. There'll be a little bit more anyway with the injury time still to come. But from this point on, if I was a betting man, who would I say is going to win the game? I think any result is still possible, because Brentford are always susceptible to conceding a goal because of sometimes the sort of lackadaisical defence that they've shown, particularly in this game at times. Brentford are always likely to score as well because of the way they try and play forward, and Fulham have, when they've had possession and they've wanted to get forward, they've looked dangerous themselves, so they could end up cancelling each other out and it finishes 2-2. We may still have a winner or an away winner. I'm sorry I can't be any more specific than that, but it really has been an open game at times, as here come Brentford again. Baptiste then finding Potter's the way he tries to get a shot away here. There's Lewis Potter. He's charged down just at the edge of the 6-yard box, and the ball now cleared back towards the halfway line. Ben Mee tracking back here for Brentford on the left-hand side, plays it into Shandon Baptiste. Baptiste drops the shoulder, gets away from Stansfield, and then finds a chance to get a cross in from the left-hand side. Rico Henry's ball is headed away, but it drops at the edge of the area for Baptiste. Baptiste's strike is charged down. Norgard still keeping it alive here. Goes back to Ben Mee. Mee then finds Rico Henry down the left here alongside Shandon Baptiste. Baptiste being blocked here by Harrison Reed. So he's forced to go back to Ben Mee. And Mee now with cross into the box. Headed down here by Ivan Toney, and Toney played it back to Mbabu, who wanted to thread it back to Ivan Toney. His pass was straight into Anthony Robinson. And now there was a collision in the air there. I thought that Paulinho might have fouled his man. The ball played into the box, headed away from Toney. It drops to Norgard, who hits it, and it's straight at Bernd Leno. A good save from Leno as well, because there was some movement on that ball, and he had to make sure he held on to it. I thought there could have been a free kick in favour of Brentford there for the foul. What looked like the foul there on Shandon Baptiste. He was taken out in the air by Paulinho, João Paulinho, but the referee decided there's nothing wrong with that. Now Fulham on the attack with a good ball down the left-hand side, picking up Mitrovic into the penalty area, challenged by Janelt. The ball is still alive here. There may still be a chance. Robinson puts the ball in, which is deflected out, and it's away for a corner kick. The Fulham players are still unhappy here. They feel as though there might be. They feel as though there might be a penalty. The referee is pointing to his earpiece, so he's saying that they're going to check something here. What are they checking? As Mitrovic breaks into the box, I mean, Janelt takes the ball cleanly off him there, and then there's just a question of whether Mitrovic. Or does Janelt? No, I would say Janelt definitely takes the ball there. I can't see any challenge on Aleksander Mitrovic, and the referee, I think, has just had that confirmed in his earpiece as well. In the meantime, Fulham are going to make their first change. It's taken them 77 minutes. It looks like it's going to be the youngster Jay Stansfield who gets a standing ovation. It's been a good debut from him. As I say, he's made a couple of very short substitution appearances, but that was his first start. So he is off. Coming on now is Kearney. Tom Kearney on the field now for Fulham. As we can see, Scotland manager Steve Clarke is in the stands today. He's got a couple of players to have a look at as Fulham make a second change here. Kenny Tete has been replaced, and it's Kevin Mbabu who's on in his place. But now we're going to finally see this corner kick from Fulham. And it's going to be whipped in by Pereira into the near post, headed away by Baptiste. And then Brentford trying to clear their lines here with Mbabu, who's being pushed in the back. And he's won his side a free kick. Mbabu and Decordova-Reid having a bit of a pushing and shoving match there, but that's all been quickly diffused. Free kick quickly taken, and it's taken long up towards Ivan Toney. Headed away from him, though, by Adebayo. He's such a big presence, isn't he, for Fulham. Tossing Adebayo. And the ball now played back towards goalkeeper Bernd Leno. Clears it up to the halfway line, headed forward by Pontus Jansson, but in the meantime the flag goes up. Turns out that Mitrovic was offside when he was jumping with Jansson. Brentford take the free kick a little bit too quickly, really. And Mbabu to Lewis Potter, who was dispossessed, and now it's Decordova-Reid bringing the ball out for Fulham. Goes down too easily, says the referee. Didn't see any foul in that as far as Peter Banks was concerned. And Norgard now going back towards Pontus Jansson. He plays it square to Janelt. Janelt's up towards Lewis Potter. Couldn't control it this time. And now they're trying to pick up Mitrovic with a long ball from the halfway line. Tim Ream's ball headed away, though, by Ben Mee. But the loose ball still kept alive here by Fulham. And Tom Kearney with his first touch. It's a good lofty ball as well out towards Pereira on the right-hand side, who has now been adjudged to have fouled Rico Henry. That was more the linesman rather than the referee making that call. And a free kick now to Brentford down the left-hand side. Let's have a look. Was there a foul here on Rico Henry? There was. I mean, well, as I say, on another day, another referee would have said that was a shoulder-to-shoulder. Certainly, watching the earlier game today between Spurs and Wolves, Simon Hooper was the referee there, and he allowed quite a lot of physical contact, almost too much at one stage. I'm generally of the opinion that you should let players play rather than constantly blowing for small fouls, but there were a few too many in that game, I felt. Meantime, Brentford have taken the free kick long, and Mbabu and Toney swapping passes down the right-hand side. Then a ball into Baptiste, just a bit under hit, but Lewis Potter can still try and keep that ball alive for Brentford. Tried to feed it into Toney, didn't quite reach Ivan Toney. Then Ben Mee crashes into Tom Kearney. That's going to be a booking for the Bees defender. I'm not sure that he can have too much of a complaint about that, really. He knew that he was going to try and stop Kearney here more than he was going to try and win the ball. So from that point of view, it seems like the correct decision from the referee Peter Banks. Ben Mee, who got on the score sheet for Brentford, and that's what will go down as a famous win for Brentford against Manchester United, albeit it's a very watered down, almost imitation version of what you'd expect in terms of attitude and endeavour from Manchester United. But for little Brentford, it's still a very big win. But Fulham now trying to get back into this game. They've not had too much attacking possession in this second half at all. With 10 minutes to go now, it's all square, and it's that difficult balance, I think, for both managers, Marco Silva and Thomas Frank. What do they do from here? Fulham were 2-0 up, they're now 2-2. Do they sit back and try and just diffuse the game from now, or do they push forward and risk perhaps being caught out by a Brentford counter-attack, which is definitely the Bees' special skill, you could say. That's a fourth goal against Manchester United last week was perfect evidence of that. It's Brentford now with the throw down the right-hand side, level with the edge of their own penalty area. And Robinson just heading a little bit further forward to try and press here, try and win the ball back for Fulham as high up the field as they can. Our game is a couple of minutes behind the game at the King Power Stadium. We're about a minute or two in front of Palace, Villa and Everton Forest. No changes in those scorelines, by the way. Still as you were, Palace 3-1 up against Villa. Just to confirm, the goal scorer for a third goal scorer for Palace, and that was Jean-Philippe Mateta on 71 minutes. Here comes Tom Cairney, though, with a good run through midfield. It opened up in front of him. He finds Andreas Pereira, and now on the overlap, but coming in on the right hand side is Mbabu. Mbabu's ball in! Oh, it's a save by Raya from Mitrovic's header, then an attempted overhead kick. Mitrovic crashes into his own teammate, and the ball is away for a goal kick, but that was so close to Fulham leading 3-2 on 83 minutes. Meanwhile, the plot thickens at Goodison Park as Nottingham Forest take the lead there on 82 minutes. But looking at this move here from Fulham, I mean, Janelt doesn't even try to stop Mitrovic. Mitrovic is claiming that even though Raya saved it, that the ball still crossed the line. Of course, the referee's goal line technology watch didn't go off, so I'm assuming that isn't the case. But it's a great save from David Raya to bat that ball away. It looked all ends up like it was going to be Fulham taking a 3-2 lead there. But as I mentioned, Nottingham Forest taking the lead at Goodison Park on 83 minutes. And it's Johnson, Brennan Johnson. I did commentary on Forest a couple of times last season. I was very impressed with him. Didn't have a particularly good game against West Ham when I saw Forest last week, but certainly Brennan Johnson is one to watch there, and he gives Forest the lead late on at Goodison Park. There's also been a third goal, there's been a third goal at the King Power Stadium, and that goal has gone the way of Southampton. So they went from being a goal down after 54 minutes from a strike from James Maddison, and now Shea Adams has scored twice on in fact no, the first goal that Adams scored was adjudged to have been an own goal by James Justin. So Justin with an own goal made it 1-1, and now Shea Adams on 85 minutes has made it 2-1. Yoan Wissa is off for Brentford here, replaced by Iranian international Sam Ghoddos, or Saman Ghoddos to give him his full name, but known as Sam Ghoddos around Brentford. A player who I was expecting to have a bit more of an impact in Thomas Frank's squad. He's not quite had the amount of games time. Scored a great goal last season away at Burnley, albeit it was nothing more than a consolation because Brentford got hammered that afternoon, but it was a sort of flying volley from Ghoddos, and there were some rumours that he might have been on the move this window. He may still be, of course. He's still got 11 days of the transfer window to go. So maybe a case that Ghoddos will be on the move. But we've got 6 minutes to play here at Craven Cottage. It's still Fulham 2, Brentford 2. And it's, just as I was about to say, the Bees are in possession. But in fact, as Fulham were in possession, a long ball played up to Mitrovic. He was in an offside position. So now the flag goes up, and it's Brentford's free kick. Janelt to Ben Mee. Hooks the ball down the left-hand side here for Rico Henry. Players in the box here for Henry, and he puts a cross in, which drops to Ivan Toney. Toney breaks into the 6-yard box. He's pushed over there, Ivan Toney. Referee feels there wasn't enough of a push to say that would be a penalty. In fairness, Fulham clear it quickly, so Brentford haven't even had time to really appeal that decision, but it may well be that there wasn't enough contact anyway. But it did look to me there's always a risk if an opposition player is breaking into the box and you're pushing him in the back without getting the ball. There's always that risk that the referee could deem that to be a penalty. Ball now on the halfway line here. Ben Mee giving it away, though. That's a poor ball. Straight to Mbabu, and now a chance for Fulham down the right-hand side as Cairney plays it on the overlap to Mbabu, but Norgard is back there helping in defence, and he goes back towards Raya, whose clearance is straight onto the head of Adebayo. Ball now drops to Shandon Baptiste. He leaves it for Ben Mee. It's Brentford now trying to play out from the back here. Janelt going back towards David Raya. And then Raya with, again, it's a low clearance from Raya. It doesn't even reach the halfway line. It's already at chest height. And now Brentford having to do some work here to win this back. And they do win it back in fairness. Decordova-Reid dispossessed by. But then what on earth was that from Pontus Jansson? I think he might have, he either got a deflection or he just completely miscued his ball back towards David Raya inside the penalty. It almost came out like a good through ball. And it needed a really quick work there from Ben Mee just to get on the end of it, as Fulham now trying to build on this. Kearney switching play from right to left, finding Anthony Robinson. Robinson then leaves this ball now for Decordova-Reid. Now it was Harrison fighting for the ball, but he was adjudged to have committed a foul. In fact, there may have been an offside there in that build-up as well. That's the referee Peter Banks has spotted. So now it's a free kick to Brentford. But now let's have a look here at this replay. Was Ivan Toney pushed for a penalty here? No. There's contact with Anthony Robinson, but is it enough to bring Ivan Toney down? I don't think so. I think that in this era now, since the Euros last year, when referees have been told to allow that little bit more physicality, I think even in the old days when the slightest bit of contact would get you a penalty, I think that probably would have been pushing it. I just think there wasn't enough. The contact from Robertson wouldn't have caused Toney to sort of fall straight down like he did. So I think there was a little bit of exaggeration there from the Bees man, as ball now back in play. Hooked up in the air by Tom Kearney. Drops to Mitrovic. He's dispossessed by Jansson. And Mitrovic does well to win the ball back. And then it's played forward, looking for the run of Kearney. But that one is stopped. Fulham have the ball back, though, down the right-hand side. Mbabu goes on the run. And he gets to the edge of the area. Drops his shoulder. Tries to get away from Rico Henry. But Rico Henry isn't having that one. Tries to stand the man up. The referee last place to go on. The ball was still played into the penalty area. Brentford were waiting for a free kick that never came in the end. And then the ball is cleared towards the halfway line. But now Pontus Jansson is down on the ground. And let's see now if he's going to be okay to carry on. As Rico Henry there felt as though he was being shoved by Kevin Mbabu. The referee didn't see it that way. And then it looks like Pontus Jansson has been caught in the groin here as Harrison Reed hit one from outside the box. And that's precisely what's happened. So the Beast captain just needing a minute or two before he's going to be able to play on. Just looks like he's a little bit winded, but now he's going to be okay. Still just a little bit tentative there is Pontus Jansson. Throw on to Fulham now down the left-hand side, and it's with Anthony Robinson. In towards Decordova-Reid, back to Robinson, now Tim Ream. Fulham captain playing it all the way back towards Bernd Leno, who has certainly seen slightly less action in the last 10 minutes, which will be good news for Marco Silva. Good news for Everton is that they've got an equaliser at home to Nottingham Forest. They're just waiting on confirmation of the goal scorer, but on 88 minutes at Goodison, it is now Everton 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Southampton still leading away at Leicester, and Palace 3-1 up at home to Villa. And still 2-2 here at Craven Cottage. We're into the last 90 seconds of regulation time. Tosin Adebayo playing it back towards his goalkeeper, Bernd Leno. Now it's with Tim Ream. Long diagonal ball looking for Mitrovic. And Mitrovic does get on the end of it, but it was always just getting away from Mitrovic. Just a little bit too much height and pace on that. Mitrovic asking the question about a handball. I'm not sure what handball he was thinking about there, but referee immediately waves that away, although Brentford immediately lose the ball on the halfway line. And here is João Paulinho, scorer of Fulham's second goal, and he spots the run of Andreas Pereira, whose ball in, headed away by Pontus Jansson. Still a second ball for Fulham at the edge of the area with Harrison Reed, and he goes back towards Mbabu. His cross into the penalty area. Goes a header, and Fulham have won it. Surely they've won it now with just 30 seconds of regulation play. It's Mitrovic with the goal. And Brentford once again caught out by a ball into the box. Not the sort of marking that you would expect at this level. And Fulham, with just 30 seconds of regulation play, have retaken the lead here at Craven Cottage. Slightly angry look on the face of Thomas Frank, but he'll be more angry when he sees just how this goal was scored, because Brentford had 2 or 3 chances to clear their lines here and they just couldn't do it. Mbabu with the ball in from the right hand side. Mitrovic is onside there, no hint of anybody being offside, and it's a great header from Aleksander Mitrovic. You've got to say, Bryan Mbabu is not the man you want to be stopping Mitrovic when you've got Ben Mee and you've got Pontus Jansson, as well as big midfielders Norgard and Janelt. How it ended up that Bryan Mbabu was marking Mitrovic is just another example of the chaotic way in which Brentford defend crosses and set pieces at times. But it's a brilliant header from Aleksander Mitrovic, who's always been the nearly man in the Premier League. He's always got goals, and plenty of them. Record-breaking number of goals for Fulham in the Championship. Hasn't quite been able to replicate that in the Premier League in previous seasons, but certainly making all the right noises here at the start of this season. We're into injury time now at Craven Cottage. Fulham lead against Brentford by 3-2, and it's Aleksander Mitrovic with the goal that makes it 3-2, and I think that might even be his last action of the match. It is. Mitrovic is now off for these final seconds of the game. Just waiting for confirmation who has replaced him, but it's a great ball in from Mbabu. The substitution there paying off for Marco Silva. It's a brilliant header from Mitrovic, but as I say, the marking from Brentford once again non-existent. And we're back in play now with Mitrovic. Confirmation that Mitrovic has gone off, and he's been replaced by Shane Duffy. So Fulham not messing about now. They're just filling out that defence for the final moments of this game. But Brentford trying to get on the attack straight away. We've had nearly 2 minutes of injury time. We're only due to have 4 in total. We didn't see the board go up because Fulham pretty much scored bang on 90 minutes. So we've got 2 minutes of injury time still to play at Craven Cottage. It's David Raya who steps up almost to the halfway line here to try and get this Brentford move started. Over to Ben Mee now, who lifts the ball towards the edge of the penalty area, and a free kick going against Brentford there as Ivan Toney crashing into Shane Duffy. Winning Fulham the free kick there. Ivan Toney still asking the question about how that was a free kick to Fulham, but referee Peter Banks isn't interested in giving him too long an explanation. Fulham now doing what they can just to drag out these final few seconds. Into the 5th minute of injury time at the King Power, and this poor start to the season for Leicester City continuing. They're 2-1 down at home to Southampton. Crystal Palace still 3-1 up against Aston Villa. Everton 1-1 with Nottingham Forest. And Fulham leading 3-2 here against Brentford as we're into the final minute of injury time. There may be a little bit more because of the amount of time it took to restart play after the goal. There was then a substitution that was made just after the goal was scored. But it can't be any more than 30 seconds past the time that we've had allocated. Bryan Mbabu now waiting to take this throw for Brentford. Throws it straight into Anthony Robinson here, the Fulham man, but that's a good header as well from Mbabu to try and get that ball towards the edge of the area. Brentford though win it back here with Rico Henry, and then he feeds the ball down the left-hand side. Why is the referee given a free kick to Brentford there? That seems like a very foolish decision considering that the Bees were on a counter-attack down the left-hand side, but Peter Banks wanted to give the Fulham man a yellow card. Not been a great performance here from the referee. I think a couple of decisions for both sides have been a little bit questionable, but now Raya takes this free kick, sends it towards the edge of the area, headed away by Tim Ream. Out for a Brentford throw. No surprise, the Fulham fans aren't rushing to give Janelt the ball here. As Janelt looks up, wants to launch this as close to the penalty area as he can. He's got to hurry up here though. We've had the full 4 minutes now. As Janelt throws it in, and the ball is now hooked up towards the edge of the penalty area. Volleyed clear though by Kevin Mbabu, and coming out for it, this one is Raya, as Kearney got close to him, but Raya gets there first. And the ball now pumped back in towards the Brentford penalty area, but Kearney was miles offside, so he couldn't go for it. And Decordova-Reid was too far away from it. As the ball now over the top here from David Raya towards the edge of the Fulham penalty area, headed up in the air by Duffy. Still bouncing at the edge of the box as Toney was blatantly fouled there by Tom Kearney, but referee deciding no free kick given. And then Mbabu can't keep the ball in play. It's out for a throw-on to Fulham. In fact, it's not. It's all over at Craven Cottage. Referee Peter Banks calls time here at Craven Cottage. And after a perfect start for Fulham, leading after just 1 minute, less than 1 minute, they were then 2 up on 20 minutes. Brentford coming back in the second half to make it 2-2. But then just as we hit injury time, it's Fulham who win the game with a late goal from Aleksander Mitrovic. And that's all from this independent off-tube studio commentary from myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz. Thank you very much. Join us again soon.